so I'm testing out this video here. I might move it to Dinosaur News Center when it's up, but I want to see how long it takes to make one of these videos. If I do move these to the Dinosaur News Center channel, I'll keep gameplay videos here. Part 2 of the Black Rabbit Brotherhood boss guide coming later. Today, let's talk about Prehistoric Kingdom dev blog for Update 11. Just remember that the public test branch and Update 11 aren't the same. The test branch is not the full update. One of the head devs confirmed that the PTB will have the new UI and fossil excavation mechanic, but everything else is uncertain. So don't confuse the PTB with Update 11. Not everything you see in this dev blog will be in the PTB. They want to test some features and get our feedback, so please keep your expectations in check. First up, they're doing more recording with Nigel. The animals with missing lines will have them soon. And they'll be recording new lines for animals lumped into one genus, such as Tarbosaurus. So Nigel won't give you Tyrannosaurus facts if you click on a Tarbosaurus. They're also tweaking the cave lion's eyes. I don't have a problem with the current look, so it doesn't bother me, but I appreciate their strive for perfection. They're promoting their new art book and soundtrack release. The art book has 200 pages filled with concept art, design thought processes, and spoilers for upcoming content, all for $6. The problem is that you can only buy the art book if you already own the game, since it's treated as DLC. It's digital only. I heard they want to make the art book available for non-players, but I don't know when that'll happen. They're selling these to help fund development. Remember, the team is comprised of about 15 people and not all of them are full-time. They work on a tiny budget, so buying the soundtrack and art book helps a lot. You can purchase the beautiful soundtrack that we don't hear enough in-game on Steam or Bandcamp, and stream it on Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube Music. Looks like we're getting 2 new animals in Update 11. There's Leelnasaura and a mystery animal. I love the choice of Leelnasaura since it's both an Australian and Arctic dinosaur. Both locations are rarely seen in dinosaur pop culture. The last time I remember seeing Leelnasaura was in Walking with Dinosaurs. As for the mystery animal, your guess is as good as mine. They say it's not a theropod. Looking at the skin and their hint, I assume it's a dinosaur. Some are guessing Plateosaurus. I'm hoping this is the case. We need more Triassic dinosaurs. Next up, we have species splitting. They're changing the nursery UI so each genus and species will have its own slot instead of being lumped together. You can see that Cynotherium now has its own icon separate from Elasmotherium. I hope this doesn't make the nursery UI too cluttered, because that's my main concern. I'm guessing this is the UI overhaul that'll make it into the PTB. Now comes the most exciting part of Update 11 for me. We'll finally get some early staff and logistics implemented into the gameplay. They're adding the Laborer and Keeper into Update 11. Other staff will be added when the corresponding gameplay systems are implemented. After reading the blog, here is how I think it'll work. Instead of micromanaging your staff and clicking on each individual staff to give them orders, you'll just hire the appropriate staff through the staff center and they'll automatically do their job. This new loading bay delivers goods to your park at set times. You'll have to think about where to place your loading bays and upgrade them to deliver more goods faster. And once the goods arrive, an available worker will automatically transport the goods to their proper locations. If you don't have enough staff or they're busy doing other tasks, the goods will just sit there until someone is available to transport them. If you want, you can find a worker and tell them to drop their task and transport the goods instead, but then the other task he was working on will be left unattended until a worker is free. Staff can work independently, or you can micromanage them if you feel another job takes priority over their current one. This is how I wanted staff and logistics to work, so I'm happy. This is similar to Dawn of Man, a prehistoric human civilization builder which I also highly recommend. I wonder how keepers will get into enclosures though. Right now, none of the enclosures have doors to allow keepers in. Will we be getting keeper doors for our fences? They're also adding storage facilities to help you as your park grows. The storage facilities help shorten the trip for your staff when goods from the loading bay get moved into them. According to this, these warehouses are planned to have a few basic UI options that dictate how they should be filled up. Stop fruit from being delivered to this produce storage module, but we were aiming to make them more contextual, so a produce station near a meat feeder is naturally going to have more meat delivered to it than a produce station that's next to a herbivore paddock. That's all a bit more theoretical though, just sharing how we would like them to work. It sounds like they want it to be more automated, like the staff removing the need to micromanage things and instead focus more on building placement. That sounds fantastic. In an older blog post, they touched on growing your own food. Now we have more details on how it works. Here's the compost heap where dung is collected and turned into compost. Compost is then used at produce stations to grow crops. Paleopines, anyone? I love interconnected mechanics. Not only that, but compost heaps also lower your park's beauty, so it adds another layer to the complexity. A building that can solve one problem but create another. I wonder if dung beetles will factor into the compost heap. Okay, so using compost to grow veggies makes sense, but what about carnivore food? They mention cultivating meat, fish, and insects. The only thing I can think of is using compost to grow certain crops to feed livestock, and in turn, the livestock becomes food for the carnivores. Imagine if you get to pick different crops to grow based on nutritional needs and growth rate. Say this vegetable grows faster, but provides less nutrition, or this vegetable grows slower but is more nutritious. We could have a mini farming game here, just think of the possibilities. Okay, maybe I'm letting my imagination go wild. It probably won't be that deep. They are also making some changes. No more generalist staff that can temporarily take over other roles. I like the idea of a generalist staff, so it's disappointing that it's been removed. But since we never got to experience it, hard to say whether we missed out. If the devs feel that this change improves the game, then I will trust their judgment. Fossil excavation is also getting updated. The new system sounds simple enough. Spend money, send teams to dig, and you'll find a random amount of DNA. You can breed the animal in the nursery once you have 100% of the DNA. The most interesting part to me is having random events with good or bad results impacting your dig. They gave examples such as fossil boom that'll give you more DNA, or high export tax that costs you more money. I hope there's a little more depth. Here's what I'm thinking. What if you can spend a little money to equip your teams with different things to either mitigate disasters or help improve DNA yields? So say your dig team has 3 item slots. You choose from a wide selection of items with various effects. A disaster happens, but since your team was equipped with the right item, the item is used and the disaster was prevented. This is me dreaming big. None of what I just said is confirmed. I do hope for a lot of unpredictable events to keep surprising us. This new fossil excavation was confirmed for the PTB. Now we have guest art overhaul. I don't mind the guests we currently have. They don't do much, but otherwise they look fine to me. The new guests are more stylized, but I'm glad they look cohesive next to the more realistic animals. More guest skin tone is welcomed. The new guest animations look excellent, so no complaints there. And yes, they can sit on benches now. Finally, we get a sneak preview of ontogeny. This is just a test and they'll improve the proportions as they continue to work on it. The babies will have the same skin colors and slowly blend into their adult skin colors as they grow. You can see the adolescent T-Rex based on Jane in the background. They also added an important note that I'll read off the blog. Here's an additional look at the baby Rex with improved proportions. Since ontogeny in Prehistoric Kingdom is seamless, infant animals cannot have perfect 1:1 limb size to what's found in the fossil record. We will be doing our best to make the babies feel cute and somewhat accurate without overly warping the models. This is totally understandable. There are limitations to what you can do with the tech. Maybe more money and time could make it more accurate, but again, this is a tiny micro-budget indie game with around 15 people working on it. What they achieved so far is already incredible. If you want to support them, buy their book and the soundtrack. This will help raise more money. That's it for this look at the Prehistoric Kingdom devlog. I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts. More to come soon, so keep your eyes peeled on the Dinosaur Arcade.